Just like that, where did all the sunlight go? The clouds all came swooping in today for whatever reason. And what's going on today? It's kind of interesting reading this one. You've often heard of things like police drones flying around, people worried whether or not you'd be, quote, monitored. How about if they used drones that were tethered? This one says, Oceanside police want to buy tethered drone. The Oceanside Police Department wants to buy its first tethered drone, an eye in the sky that could stay aloft for 24 hours or longer with a lightweight cable connection to the ground. It says here this drone has a complex camera payload that allows for the streaming of video to a ground station and other remote users, both high power zoom and thermal capability, states a city staff report. Additionally, this drone is supported by a fixed cable spool tether that transmits uninterrupted power up to 300 feet to the drone, eliminating the need to land every 20 to 30 minutes to change batteries, states the report presented to the city's police and fire commission on Thursday. Would this actually make you more comfortable if they were using it for surveillance purposes because it'll always be at that one spot? I would imagine in some ways it would be similar to any other camera attached to a building afterwards, but you'd have more flexibility obviously. It says it also will have a tactical application and will be used in high-risk events where constant observation is critical to community safety such as public demonstrations and other large critical events. And it says, I'm all for the program and its technology, said Police Captain Sean Marchant. We used to climb a hill with a pair of binoculars. The benefits of the drone totally outweigh anything that could be negative. So are there any potential negatives to this? That says the ACLU acknowledges drones can be beneficial in things such as search and rescue missions, mapping and scientific research. However, it recommends limits on surveillance with a written policy approved by oversight agencies in place. Police Chief Fred Armijo said his department will follow the video policy approved by the Oceanside City Council. It specifies who has access to the material and when, the uses for it, and how long it will be stored. The department was awarded a $239,134 grant in August 2022 from the Federal Urban Area Security Initiative to purchase the system. And since the initiative's funding requires the device to be available to other agencies in the area for similar uses, so it wouldn't be just for police. But would you see this as a good thing overall? This would actually make it more like just a, quote, flying camera. It's kind of how I use it many times. You just go up and down, for example, within a certain area because it gives you a better aerial perspective, obviously. But again, would you be okay with this? I guess from a privacy point of view and security one where police officers and officials are using it, I would be inclined to wonder too, like in this case, if it's tethered on the ground, how about if it's just like a regular civilian, for example? Let's just say they do this in the future where you bring, I don't know, some kind of like backpack drone or something like that that's tethered to the ground. Even if it's kind of ridiculous, let's just say it's a small drone. If you tether it, should it be technically legal to use in various places? Because you can't say, oh, it's going to all of a sudden fly 2,000 feet in the air and hit an aircraft, and why you can't fly it if you basically, let's just say, attach it to the ground. It'll make me wonder in that aspect. I remember a news reporter saying, for example, he found it kind of ridiculous where you can set up these huge cameras on these tripods and so forth to capture whatever is happening in the scene. But as soon as you fly the drone up, it doesn't matter if it's just above like your head level, for example, all of a sudden people will give you grief. Police officers will say, take that down and all that. Like, it doesn't make sense. So it makes me wonder, again, if a regular consumer say, quote, tethered their drone on the ground, should it be all fair game like a regular camera as well in many cases? And this one was kind of interesting where apparently there's a lot of talk about things like drone taxis, I guess, being implemented soon per se. It says Amsterdam Drone Week, experts plan drone taxis for next year. More than 2,000 drone experts, policymakers, and companies are coming to the RAI in Amsterdam for a 3-day conference on drones starting Tuesday. During Amsterdam Drone Week, they will discuss how drones can be used for passenger transport. Drones have not yet been used as cabs. This is expected to happen for the first time next year during the Paris Olympics. Anyone going to be around that area to see if this actually happens? I've often said too, if you're going to be using drones, for example, to transport people and so forth, then be my guest, treat it like a huge manned aircraft and all that. They do say too they're currently actually testing it, saying in Europe, tests are already being conducted with taxi drones with pilots but no passengers yet, said Nink Lipsius, director of ADW. This is already going very well, Lipsius claimed. She pointed out that there are already European traffic rules that aircraft must follow and rules about the pilot licenses pilots must have. However, agreements still need to be reached on where the drones can fly. Will you be willing to ride a quote drone taxi in the near future? Alright, see you guys later.